In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Kwumsy P2 Pro tri-screen monitor. This is a triple monitor setup that plugs in over one USB cable that I have been testing out over the past week and a half. And I spent quite a lot of time with it, so I'm quite excited to bring you guys my thoughts on the pros and cons and whether this is a device that is worth purchasing. The Kwumsy P2 Pro is a quite unique product in several ways. First of all, it's a one cable setup, so it delivers power and monitor signal with one cable to both of the screens in the device. This is done over DisplayLink, which means that this could also be used together with the M1 Pro, MacBook Pro and MacBook Air, which normally only supports one external monitor over DisplayPort. That makes it a super versatile solution and something that I haven't seen on the market at all before. It is also a very plug and play solution where once you have the drivers installed, you just plug this in and it takes a few seconds of wait time and then it is ready to use as a triple monitor setup. It has a genius mounting solution where a spring is coming out and then wrapping very tightly around your laptop, regardless of what size of laptop it is. This makes it very good to use with multiple devices, which is perfect for me that is constantly testing out different laptops and never using the same for a very long period. If you want to buy one of these guys, they are available at Amazon and they are available on Kwumsy's website. On Amazon, one screen versions cost $300, and if you want this guy that we're testing today with two screens, they cost around $600. You can find links to both of these places down in the description below. I'm W2S and I make in-depth gear reviews and tutorials, and if you like this video after watching it, I would be super happy if you want to put a like on the video, and if you have any questions about this product, please comment down in the comment section below and I will do my best to reply as quickly as possible. Here is everything I normally carry with me to bring along and use the Kwumsy P2 Pro. This is the main unit in its cloth bag, together with one USB-C to USB-C cable. The weight of this thing is 2020 grams with the included cable. This is the package together with my MacBook Pro 14. And then the weight is 3,622 grams. Quite a lot to bring along, but it is also what you kind of have to if you want a triple monitor setup with your laptop. When unpacking the screen out of the bag, I personally think that the bag is a little bit too small. And especially the opening, it is a little bit hard to just smoothly get the product out of the bag. That is mainly because of these parts here that stick out quite a bit and that are used to grip around the screen of the laptop. When taking the monitors out like this, you can see why I would typically use them together with that cloth bag. The screens are facing outwards. And this is the first screen, and then when you fold it up, you have the second screen on the inside there. So one screen will always be facing out, and therefore it is really good to have that cloth bag protecting the screen so that it doesn't get scratches when you take it into a bag, for example. Let's have a closer look at the ports of this device. As you can see here on the bottom, you have two USB-C ports, and one of the ports is connecting to your laptop, and one is supposed to be used for power delivery. However, I haven't gotten that to work because these ports have a very narrow input, so you actually need to use the cables that came with the device. If there was just a bit more space on the sides of the USB-C ports here, it would probably work to charge through, but I haven't been able to test this out during my week of testing. On the side here, you can also see there is a memory card reader. This one holds the drivers for Windows and Mac computers. And if you don't have a memory card reader on your computer, you can use this as your memory card reader connected via USB-C together with the screen. On the other side here, we have the buttons for controlling the monitors with the on-screen display. This was pretty self-explanatory, and I was using it to adjust colors and to adjust brightness of the screens. When we have the screens out like this, we can also take a closer look at the quality feel of the whole unit. And this kind of unit has a few parts where the quality field will be really important for it to be a working device for a long time. One of those things is the hinge that hold the screen in place. So when I fold this out here, you want this hinge to be giving a little bit of friction, but also not be too stiff. So you want to be able to smoothly put it out, but then for it to stay in place once you have angled it the way that you want it to. Of course, the same goes for the second hinge here, that you want this to be equally high quality as the first one. When coming in here, we see the next thing that I think is very important to have a good quality setup with, and that is the kickstand, as you can see here. The kickstand, in this case, is working really well and it's got a pretty good quality feel to it. You pull out the kickstand and then you use this mounting screw to fasten it the length that you want it, and then it sits really well. And it also sits very well attached with the actual monitor here. So the kickstand is one thing that really sets this apart compared to other monitors that I have been testing. The next thing that really needs to work well here is the attachment of the screens to the laptop. And that is one of the really good things about this machine. In many other cases, you rely on either dragging it out or putting it on a flimsy kickstand that won't support it very well. But in this case, you have a monitor that actually will wrap around pretty much any size of laptop. When pressing that button, it releases the spring and makes it into the maximum size so that I can put the laptop in here and then push it together to wrap around the laptop. This is the way it wraps around a MacBook Pro 14. And this is the way it wraps around a 16-inch screen with my Dell Inspiron 16 Plus. As you can see, it is as smooth to wrap this screen around both the 14-inch laptop as well as the 16-inch laptop. As you can see on the back here, the kickstand is supporting the screen and taking quite a lot of the weight from the total 2 kilos that these screens weigh. I have never had any problem with the friction of the kickstand against the table, so I would say this is a very well working kickstand. Starting to use the monitors is a very plug and play experience on PC. I was starting to use it with the Dell Inspiron 16 Plus. Here, one of the main unique selling points of these screens is the fact that I can use it with one USB-C cable. So have a look what happens now when I plug in one cable. As you can see there, it is firing up the Finder and it shows me the installation files, but at the same time, it's starting to do the plug and play process. And then it gives off a little bit of sounds, and after some time of waiting, it is starting up both of the screens and they are running as individual monitors. When using the device together with a Mac computer, the setup process was a little bit more advanced. So it didn't plug and play start in this case, which would have been the case if it was running off of DisplayPort. But now it is running with DisplayLink, and therefore it needs some drivers to be installed. This was a fairly simple process where you would just install one software, and then after installing that software and giving it permission to use the screens, it would work right away. About a 2 to 3 minute process, but then it has been working plug and play-ish once you put in the cable into the USB-C port. As you can see there, it takes a little bit of waiting time, but then it just starts working right away. And this is the kind of setup that I have been using most of the time with the screens. And it has been working great. I really appreciate that I can have this very plug and play solution in my home so that I can have 3 screens without really having to do much to get that setup and to keep that setup around even when I go into the office. So this has really allowed me to do some better work from home, and I can really see how it would allow for some good on the road work as well. However, as there are new restrictions in Sweden right now, I haven't been able to use it much on the go at all so far. The really cool thing here is that if your laptop doesn't have a USB-C connector, you can still use the Kwumsy P2 Pro because you can use it with a USB-A cable as well. Since it is running off of DisplayLink, as you can see here with my Inspiron 16 Plus, one USB-A cable is enough to drive both of the monitors. And I think when using it over USB-A, I'm experiencing a little bit more latency, but it's not terrible, and if you're using stationary applications most of the time, you can definitely use it like this. One thing I appreciated a lot when I was using this device was the fact that you can leave it like this when you take away your laptop. This means that in my home I could have it standing on my desk when I didn't want to use it together with the laptop, and then it was completely ready for me to use when I wanted to come home and work a little bit from the desk at home. Since these are screens, you are probably wondering about the monitor quality. That is one of the most important things about a monitor setup, however that setup is. And I have to say that compared to a lot of other solutions I've been testing out, these monitors that are 13.3 inch and full HD with a refresh rate of 60 Hz and a pretty good contrast and color calibration have been working very well. I think that when you go below 13 inch, it's starting to be a little bit hard to get enough usage out of your external monitors. And most of the time when I don't use this device, I would use one and sometimes two external 15-inch monitors for my mobile setups. So that's quite a lot more real estate, even though the resolution is the same. I think that these screens with their matte finish has been working very well for my office setups. And I haven't been experiencing any lag when using the monitors for office-related tasks. However, since it is using DisplayLink, there is inevitably some lag involved, since this is not running off of DisplayPort. And if you want to use it for really fast-paced things, maybe this is not the ideal solution for you. But if you want, for example, a communications tool or your email on one separate screen, and then your main work window in the middle, I think this is a super well working solution. There are different ways that you can set up the screens to be able to have different use cases covered. And one of the ways is to angle the screens backward to be able to sit at a table and have multiple people on different sides of the table see the screen or different things that you want to show. However, since the kickstand is there, it is very hard to give exactly the right angle that you want to one of the monitors. And in this case, it would have made sense to move the kickstand quite a bit in from there. But I'm guessing that there wasn't enough space for the internals, so they put the kickstand where it was space for it, and therefore it limits kind of the angling of the device quite a bit. Personally though, I've only worked with it set up this way, and one thing that I think is a little bit of a con here is the way that the monitors can't really angle in when you are using the screens like this. This is the maximum angle that you can achieve, and I would love for it to be a little bit more angleable inwards when you're sitting in front of it like this. When putting it together like this, the whole package is pretty big and bulky, and it weighs quite a bit, as I showed in the beginning of the video. So if you want something ultra portable in terms of an external monitor setup, this isn't your best bet. However, I think it makes up for this with the superb quality feel that the device has. Last but not least, a con that I think is necessary to mention is the fact that the USB Type-C ports are sunk in quite a bit, which in my opinion doesn't make any sense at all. What this means is that the cable that comes with the monitor is pretty much a proprietary cable, because if you try to plug in some other cable, it won't fit in this USB port. Have a look here when I show the different examples. This is the USB-C cable that comes with the monitor and the part that is supposed to go into the screen. This is the other side of the USB-C cable, more like a normal USB-C cable would look. That one clicks into place completely fine and will work together with the screen. If we try plugging it in the other way around, it just won't sit in there at all. As you can see, it is super flimsy because the cable has not actually been connected to the port. So because it is such a small input there, you need this kind of cable for it to actually work with this port. The main pros are for sure the quality feel that is definitely better than any other external monitor I have used so far. The mounting solution, the fact that it can be used together with any size, and that it really sits tight on your laptop regardless of what size it has, is such a great feature. The kickstand that is high quality and works well for what it is supposed to do. And the fact that it is using one cable to connect to your computer, which makes it possible to use even together with an M1 MacBook Air or M1 MacBook Pro, something that hasn't been possible at all before. What do you think? Would you get the Kwumsy P2 Pro to use as a triple monitor setup, for example with your M1 MacBook Pro or MacBook Air? I have to say, for me, the MacBook Air became a lot more of an interesting device now that I know I can use it with a triple monitor setup like this one. That package in total will be very lightweight and still a supercharged workstation that could be used for video editing, office work, and pretty much all the different use cases that I have. The M1 MacBook Air is also very affordable, so if you get one of those, then adding one of these guys to it is gonna make it a triple monitor setup with a powerful laptop that is not super expensive. As I mentioned in the video, there are a few cons with it, but I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons here, and this becomes a very usable product for like real life use cases. I need to see over some more time whether this is my preferred mobile monitor setup or if I have any of my other ones that I keep on using instead of this guy. At some point in time, I will be comparing all the different mobile monitor setups that I have tried over the past year and a half, and then you will see which is my winner takes it all. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below, and then I hope I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.